Hi everyone, welcome to this Python course. So let's start by setting up our environment so that our computer can run Python code. That's the first thing that we need before we start to code in Python, of course. So again, as I said in the introduction, there are two ways that you can follow to run the materials in this course. One of them is setting up your computer to be able to interpret Python code. Windows machines by default can't interpret Python code, although Mac or Ubuntu machines, for example, or Linux machines can interpret Python code off the bat. Although here for beginners we are going to use the Anaconda distribution, so if you have a Mac or an Ubuntu you can also set up the Anaconda distribution on your systems as well. The Anaconda distribution is like a more easy way and user-friendly way for beginners to understand how they can run Python code in their machine instead of just installing Python native. The other alternative that we have, and if you want to go there, you just skip to the last lecture of this section, is to run Python code using Google Colab notebooks. So Google Colab notebooks are basically ways for you to run Python code in the cloud directly without having to set up anything in your computer. You just need a Google Drive folder. I'll show that as well in the last lecture of this section. If you don't want to set up Python in your computer, you can skip until the last lecture where I have the lecture titled Google Colab Notebook Setup or Google Colab Notebook Environment. So let's start by downloading Anaconda distribution and setting it up in our environment. Here in Google, you can just do Anaconda distribution. This would go for here for the first. I'm going even to put Anaconda distribution download this, and then we are going for the first link that we see on Google. This will open this window right here. You can hit download here on this icon. This will basically download a file, an installer file, just like any Windows file, of the Anaconda distribution, enable you to have the Anaconda navigator in your computer. So hit download, and this will start to download the file. When this download finishes, you can go to your usual downloads folder, and we'll see what we have there. When the download is completed, go to your usual downloads folder, and you can see here an icon similar to this one. I'm going to double click it, and this will basically open a common file installer or a software installer here in Windows. I'll also leave some resources on how you can install Anaconda distribution in Mac or Ubuntu. Okay, so let's just wait for the installer process to open, and there you go. Now I'm going to hit next here on this one. I've already read the license, so after you've read the license, you can hit I agree. And here you can install for just you or for all users. So I'm just going to use just me. I'm just the user of my computer, but I could also hit all users. And then you can just hit where's the destination folder. I'm going to leave the default one, hit next. And then here I'm going to do something. I'm going to register Anaconda as my default Python 3.9. And I'm going to add Anaconda 3 to my path environment variable. Add it to your own risk. It may cause some interference if you have installed Conda or Python before. If you have not, probably there's not going to be many things bad. There's not going to be bad things coming out from checking this box. I'm going to use it, and this will enable me to run Conda commands via the command line, as I'm going to show you next. I'm going to hit install, and this should install the Anaconda distribution in my computer. Let's just wait for the install process to finish, and then we'll return to see how we can open the Anaconda navigator in our computer. So when this install process is complete, you can hit next, and then hit next here, and then you can start immediately to have the Anaconda distribution tutorial or getting started with Anaconda if you want to go through those tutorials as well, and then just hit finish. So now we have Anaconda in our computer, and we can interpret also Python code in our computer. So now if you go here to the Windows search and search for Anaconda, you should have Anaconda prompt and Anaconda navigator. What I'm going to do is to open Anaconda navigator. You can also find, maybe you also have it on the desktop or a desktop icon. Here, also through the search bar, you'll end up in the Anaconda navigator. Now let's wait a bit for our Anaconda navigator to start, and when Anaconda navigator starts, we are going to be able to see the environments and all the stuff that we will need for this course. After a while, Anaconda will open and you'll have this window on your computer. In this side, you'll have several things that you can do in Anaconda, and here you have several services that you can launch using Anaconda, including some cloud platform environments and all other stuff. What we'll use throughout this course is Jupyter Notebooks, a notebook environment for us to code in Python, which is a very good platform for teaching and also a very good platform to understand and write some code with scripts and to explain the code that we are doing. I'm going just to, before we go to the next lecture, I'm going to go here to the environments. These environments is where we'll have several environments that we can use throughout the course, okay? What we'll do is use this Python for absolute beginners environment. When you start Anaconda, you'll only have this base root environment available in your computer. This is the base Python environment with all the base libraries that you will need, and you'll see what these libraries or packages mean when we go throughout the course. But here, for this course, I recommend that you use the Python Absolute Beginners environment that I'm going to give you for you to install in your environment as well. We are going to learn how to import an environment using Anaconda so that you can use all the libraries that I use. Although I'm also going to show you how you can create an environment from scratch for all other purposes that you may need. Okay, so let's stop here, and in the next lecture I'll show you how to create an environment here in Python.